it's a happy day for all of us who like to have good food. And I am so glad we have a nice following, happy, healthy cookers, bakers, or maybe you're just wanting to know more about how to cook healthily. Well, today we're going to do a breakfast. I know there's some people who go, oh, I don't eat breakfast. I got that response when we did waffles a while back. It's like, but you know, if you make stuff like this, you've got it in the kitchen and then you can just take out a bit. But what we're going to make today is granola. Homemade granola is the best. And there's 2 or 3 reasons for that. If you were to read the labels on the healthy granola that's in the store, you know, the boxes, it's high fat, high carbohydrate, high sugar. Well, that's also the carbohydrates, but it's like the sugar is the second or third ingredient. Well, this one, the sweetener is at the end. And this is really easy. It's a lower carbohydrate. It has oats, but it also has a lot of nuts. So yes, it's going to have some fat, but it is a healthy fat. So here we go. It's really easy to make. The only thing that's time consuming is baking it. So I didn't have a bowl big enough. So we've got 6 cups of oats. I've made it with both quick oats and old-fashioned oats. Technically, old-fashioned is better, but they didn't have any in the store, and I wasn't going to go shopping somewhere else. So I just got the regular quick oats, but I would have preferred the old-fashioned. All right, and then I've got about a half a cup of walnuts and about a half a cup of pecans. I know those are 2 nuts that are kind of related, but they have different flavors. Walnuts are high in antioxidants. Pecans have, I don't know what they have. They're good for you. And stop laughing at me. And then we've got cashews. They also have a healthy fat to them. The recipe says that you can, you kind of use your discretion on what kind of nuts you want to do. It suggested Brazil nuts. Well, those are like expensive. And so I picked up some sliced almonds, and I looked at the price of Brazils versus slice of almonds. Brazil nuts were twice the price. I was like, So if you're in an area that Brazil nuts, hey, go for it. Pistachios, they're also expensive. I was blessed to be given a couple pounds of them, so that's out of my personal. And some sunflower seeds and some coconut. Stir this up. I know my bowl is too small, but it was the biggest bowl that I could find for here. I have a bigger one at home. I need to remember next time bring a bigger bowl, but that's okay. Stir it up. It's nice to kind of mix it in. It does call for a little bit of sugar. We've got some brown sugar here. It's up to you as to if you want to use the amount. I cut back a bit of what's on the recipe. You can do that also. Or if you like your stuff really sweet, put it all in. All right, then it also calls for about a 3/4 cup of water and about a 1/4 cup of oil and about a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. And that is not the pancake syrup that is listed, in the grocery store. This is the real stuff. Maple syrup from Maine and up in that part of the country. So it's the real maple syrup, not pancake stuff. Stir it up a little bit, and I'm going to just add it bit by bit. And just a warning, I will probably use my hands for some of this. First of all, since the bowl is too small. And second of all, it's easier to use my hands. And I did wash my hands. You would hope. Okay, forget the spoon. And you just want to then mix it until the dry mixes in with the wet. I made a batch of this yesterday, and using a bigger bowl makes a big difference. So when you make this recipe, actually the recipe that we're going to have linked with this, we'll have a hard copy for you. It's a PDF. It calls for 12 cups. It's a double recipe. So you can cut it back to a half or a quarter recipe. It's up to you. That's one thing that, for those of you who do quite a bit of cooking, know that, oh, there's a lot of recipes. You can just do half or double it. Okay, we're starting to get to the bottom of the wetness and the dry, getting it all mixed together. And making a mess with my hands. And making a mess on the table. Table's clean, so it's going back in. This recipe, you're going to need 2 cookie sheets. So if you make the full recipe with 12 cups of oats, you're going to need 4 cookie sheets. Spread it out nicely. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Good to the last crumb. Spread it out. You don't want to have too many clumps in it because then it doesn't bake as well, so that's why I'm kind of going through and breaking it up. One thing about this recipe, it doesn't call for, but you could add a half a cup or so of, or maybe even a little bit more of raisins or dried cranberries, or maybe some other dried fruit, pineapple, dried apples. Any type of dried fruit would go really good in this. Shake it out a bit. So there you see, we've got 2 pans of granola, and it's going to go in the oven. The way I find it best, put one on one shelf, one on the other shelf. 30 minutes, you need to pull it out, stir it, and then I usually switch the pans from one shelf to the other. And it bakes a total of 2 hours. But since I made some last night, I'll be right back. Yes, I know my fingers are a little bit, but this is our finished product. It's nice and crispy. And this was the amount of that we just put in the 2 pans. So you've got quite a bit. And if you consider that a serving is about 1/3 of a cup, which would be about this amount, because granola is pretty intense, pretty high density, or whatever you want to call it. This is going to last you for a while. With a little bit of almond milk or soy milk or even oat milk, your choice, and you're going to have a great breakfast and an easy way, a healthy way to start your day. Please let us know what you thought of this recipe after you have made it, and put your comments, and we thank you for following. See you later.